Hello, kids! Welcome to our Bible adventure. Today, we're going to hear a very exciting story about Apostle Paul standing before Governor Festus. Paul had been preaching about Jesus, and some people were upset with him. They tried to accuse him of doing wrong, but Paul stayed calm and brave because he trusted God. We'll see how Paul explained the truth even when powerful leaders and kings were listening. Are you ready to learn about courage, honesty, and faith? Let's go!
Acts 25. Now when Festus was come into the province, after 3 days he ascended from Caesarea to Jerusalem. Then the high priests and the chief of the Jews informed him against Paul, and besought him, and desired favor against him, that he would send for him to Jerusalem, laying wait in the way to kill him. But Festus answered that Paul should be kept at Caesarea, and that he himself would depart shortly thither.
"Let them therefore,"
said he,
"which among you are able, go down with me, and accuse this man, if there be any wickedness in him."
And when he had tarried among them more than 10 days, he went down unto Caesarea, and the next day, sitting on the judgment seat, commanded Paul to be brought. And when he was come, the Jews which came down from Jerusalem stood round about, and laid many and grievous complaints against Paul, which they could not prove. While he answered for himself,
"Neither against the law of the Jews, neither against the temple, nor yet against Caesar have I offended anything at all."
But Festus, willing to do the Jews a pleasure, answered Paul and said,
"Wilt thou go up to Jerusalem, and there be judged of these things before me?"
Then said Paul,
"I stand at Caesar's judgment seat, where I ought to be judged. To the Jews have I done no wrong, as thou very well knowest. For if I be an offender, or have committed anything worthy of death, I refuse not to die. But if there be none of these things whereof these accuse me, no man may deliver me unto them. I appeal unto Caesar."
Then Festus, when he had conferred with the council, answered,
"Hast thou appealed unto Caesar? Unto Caesar shalt thou go."
And after certain days King Agrippa and Bernice came unto Caesarea to salute Festus. And when they had been there many days, Festus declared Paul's cause unto the king, saying,
"There is a certain man left in bonds by Felix, about whom when I was at Jerusalem, the chief priest and the elders of the Jews informed me, desiring to have judgment against him. To whom I answered, It is not the manner of the Romans to deliver any man to die, before that he which is accused have the accusers face to face, and have license to answer for himself concerning the crime laid against him. Therefore, when they were come hither without any delay, on the morrow I sat on the judgment seat, and commanded the man to be brought forth. Against whom, when the accusers stood up, they brought none accusation of such things as I supposed, but had certain questions against him, of their own superstition, and of one Jesus, which was dead, whom Paul affirmed to be alive. And because I doubted of such manner of questions, I asked him whether he would go to Jerusalem, and there be judged of these matters. But when Paul had appealed to be reserved unto the hearing of Augustus, I commanded him to be kept till I might send him to Caesar."
Then Agrippa said unto Festus,
"I would also hear the man myself."
"Tomorrow,"
said he,
"thou shalt hear him."
And on the morrow, when Agrippa was come, and Bernice with great pomp, and was entered into the place of hearing with the chief captains and principal men of the city, at Festus' commandment Paul was brought forth. And Festus said,
"King Agrippa, and all men which are here present with us, ye see this man, about whom all the multitude of the Jews have dealt with me, both at Jerusalem and also here, crying that he ought not to live any longer. But when I found that he had committed nothing worthy of death, and that he himself hath appealed to Augustus, I have determined to send him, of whom I have no certain thing to write unto my lord. Wherefore I have brought him forth before you, and specially before thee, O King Agrippa, that after examination had, I might have somewhat to write. For it seemeth to me unreasonable to send a prisoner, and not withal to signify the crimes laid against him.
After Governor Festus arrived in the province, he had an important job to do, making sure everyone followed the laws of Rome fairly. But some leaders from the Jewish people were upset with Paul. They went to Festus and said, "Governor, this man Paul is causing trouble. Please send him to Jerusalem so we can punish him." They even had a secret plan to try to hurt Paul along the way. But Festus was fair. He said, "No. Paul will stay in Caesarea while I handle this. If any of you have proof that he did something wrong, you can show it here." The leaders thought they would scare Paul, but they didn't have any real proof. Paul stayed calm because he knew God was with him. Even when people are unfair, God wants us to stay honest and trust him. Next, Paul was brought before Festus, and the leaders made many accusations. But they couldn't prove anything. Festus asked Paul if he wanted to go to Jerusalem for a trial, trying to make the leaders happy. Paul said, "No. I must be judged where I belong before Caesar, the leader of the Romans. I have done nothing wrong to the Jewish people or the temple. If I had done something bad, I wouldn't refuse to face the punishment. But since I am innocent, it would be unfair to send me anywhere else." Wow. Paul was so brave. He didn't get scared by the powerful leaders. He trusted God and spoke the truth with courage. Kids, sometimes we may feel scared to tell the truth, but Paul shows us that honesty and trusting God can give us courage even in scary situations. After some days, King Agrippa and his sister Bernice came to visit Festus. Festus wanted them to understand Paul's case, so he explained everything. "Paul is here in prison, accused by the Jewish leaders, but I cannot find anything he has done wrong. He is innocent. I am sending him to Caesar for a fair trial." The next day, Paul stood before King Agrippa, Bernice, and all the officials in the palace. Festus introduced Paul and explained that the Jewish leaders wanted him dead, but there was no proof. Paul got a chance to speak. Even though Paul was in chains, he remained patient and brave. He trusted God's plan and knew that God was guiding him. Kids, we can learn from Paul that even when things seem scary or unfair, God is always with us, and He will help us do the right thing. We can stay calm, honest, and faithful, just like Paul. Thank you for watching today's exciting Bible adventure. We saw how Paul stayed brave, honest, and faithful even when powerful leaders tried to accuse him. Remember, God is always with us, and He will give us courage to do what is right. Keep trusting God in everything you do and share His love with your friends and family. See you next time for another amazing Bible adventure.